Ismail I, known in Persian as Shah Ismail, was Shah of Iran and the founder of the Safavid dynasty which survived until 1736. Ismi started his campaign in Iranian Azerbaijan in 1500 as the leader of the Safaviya, a 12-Shia militant religious order, and unified all of Iran by 1509. Born in Ardabil, Iranian Azerbaijan, he was the king of the Safavid dynasty from 1501 to 1524. The dynasty founded by Ismail I would rule for over 2 centuries, being one of the greatest Iranian empires after the Muslim conquest of Persia and at its height being amongst the most powerful empires of its time, ruling all of Iran, Azerbaijan, Armenia, most of Georgia, the North Caucasus, Iraq, Kuwait, and Afghanistan, as well as parts of modern-day Syria, Turkey, Pakistan, Uzbekistan, and Turkmenistan at their height. It also reasserted the Iranian identity in large parts of Greater Iran. The legacy of the Safavid Empire was also the revival of Persia as an economic stronghold between East and West, the establishment of an efficient state and bureaucracy, their architectural innovations, and their patronage for fine arts. Ismail played a key role in the rise of Twelver Islam. He converted Iran from Sunni to Shia Islam, importing religious authorities from the Levant. In Alevism, Shah Ismail remains revered as a spiritual guide. Ismail was also a prolific poet who, under the pen name Khatari, contributed greatly to the literary development of the Azerbaijani language. He also contributed to Persian literature, though few of his Persian writings are still in existence. Origins. Ismail was born to Martha and Sheikh Haydar on July 17, 1487 in Ardabil. His father, Haydar, was the sheikh of the Safaviya Sufi order and a direct descendant of its Kurdish founder, Safi ad-Din Ardabillah. Ismail was the last in line of hereditary grandmasters of the Safaviya Sufi order, prior to his ascent to a ruling dynasty. Ismail was a great-great-grandson of Emperor Alexios IV of Trebizond and King Alexander I of Georgia. His mother Martha, better known as Halima Begum, was the daughter of Uzun Hasan by his Pontic Greek wife Theodora Megalkomnena, better known as Despina Khatun. Despina Khatun was the daughter of Emperor John IV of Trebizond. Ismail grew up bilingual, speaking Persian and Azerbaijani. Not only did Ismail have Kurdish ancestors, but he also had ancestors from various other ethnic groups. The majority of scholars agree that his empire was an Iranian one. In 701 Safi al-Din assumed the leadership of the Zaydiyya, a significant Sufi order in Gilan, from his spiritual master and father-in-law Zayd Gilani. The order was later known as the Safaviya. Like his father and grandfather, Ismail headed the Safaviya Sufi order. An invented genealogy claimed that Sheikh Safi was a lineal descendant of Ali. Ismail also proclaimed himself the Mahdi and a reincarnation of Ali. Life. In 1488, the father of Ismail was killed in a battle at Debent against the forces of the Shirvanshah Farukh Yasser and his overlord, the Aq-Koyunlu, a Turkic tribal federation which controlled most of Iran. In 1494, the Aq-Koyunlu captured Ardabil, killing Ali Mirza Safavi, and forcing the 7-year-old Ismail to go into hiding in Gilan, where he received education under the guidance of renowned scholars. When Ismail reached the age of 12, he came out of hiding and returned to Iranian Azerbaijan along with his followers. Ismail's advent to power was due to Turkoman tribes of Anatolia and Azerbaijan, who formed the most important part of the Kizilbash movement. Invasion of Shirvan and Azerbaijan in the summer of 1500, about 7,000 Kizilbash forces, consisting of Ustiklu, Shamlu, Rumlu, Tekalu, Julkadir, Afshar, Kayar and Varsakh tribes, responded to the invitation of Ismail in Erzincan. Kizilbash forces passed over the Kara River in November 1500, and marched towards the Shirvanshah state. They defeated the forces under the Shirvanshah Farooq Yasser near Kabana, and conquered Baku. By that, Shirvan and its dependencies were Ismail's now reign. Conquest of Iran and its surroundings. In July 1501, Ismail was enthroned as Shah of Azerbaijan, choosing Tabriz as his capital. He then appointed his former guardian and mentor Hussein Beg Shamlu as the vassal of the empire and the commander-in-chief of the Kizilbash army. His army was composed of tribal units, the majority of which were Turkmen from Anatolia and Syria, with the remainder Kurds and Chagatai. Furthermore, he also appointed a former Iranian vizier of the Aq-Koyunlu, named Muhammad Zakaria Qajaji, as his vizier. After defeating a Aq-Koyunlu army in 1502, Ismail took the title of Shah of Iran. In the same year he gained possession of Erzincan and Erzurum, while a year later, in 1503, Ismail conquered Iraqi Ajam and Fars. 1 year later he conquered Mazandaran, Gorgan, and Yazd. In 1507, he conquered Diyarbakir. During the same year, Ismail appointed the Iranian Emir Najm al-Din Masud Gilani as the new vassal. This was because Ismail had begun favoring the Iranians more than the Kizilbash, who, although had played a crucial role in Ismail's campaigns, possessed too much power and were no longer very trustable. 1 year later, he made the ruler of Khuzestan, Lorestan, and Kurdistan become his vassals. During the same year, Ismail and Hussein Beg Shamlu seized Baghdad, thus putting an end to the Aq-Koyunlu. Ismail then began destroying Sunni sites in Baghdad, including tombs of Abbasid caliphs and tombs of the two Sunni figures Imam Abu Hanifa and Abdul Qadir Gilani. By 1510, he had conquered the whole of Iran and Azerbaijan, southern Dagestan, Mesopotamia, Armenia, Khorasan, eastern Anatolia, and had made the Georgian kingdoms of Kartli and Chagatai his vassals. During the same year, Hussein Beg Shamlu lost his office as commander-in-chief in favor to a man of humble origins, Muhammad Beg Ushtailu. Furthermore, Ismail had also appointed Najm Isani as the new vassal of the empire due to death of Masud Gilani. Sometime later, Ismail I moved against the Uzbeks. In battle near the city of Merv, some 17,000 Kizilbash warriors ambushed and defeated a superior Uzbek force numbering 28,000. The Uzbek ruler, Muhammad Shaybani, was caught and killed trying to escape the battle, and the Shah had his skull made into a jeweled drinking goblet. In 1512, Najm Isani was killed during a clash with Uzbeks, which made Ismail appoint Abd al-Baqi Yazdi as the new vassal of the empire. War against the Ottomans. The active recruitment of support for the Safavid cause among the Turkoman tribes of eastern Anatolia, among tribesmen who were Ottoman subjects, had inevitably placed the neighboring Ottoman Empire and the Safavid state on a collision course. As the Encyclopedia Iranica states, as Orthodox or Sunni Muslims, the Ottomans had reason to view with alarm the progress of Shiite ideas in the territories under their control. But there was also a grave political danger that the Safawiya, if allowed to extend its influence still further, might bring about the transfer of large areas in Asia Minor from Ottoman to Persian allegiance. Furthermore, by the early 1510s, Ismail's rapidly expansionistic policies had made the Safavid border in Asia Minor shift even more westwards. In 1511, there was a widespread pro-Safavid rebellion in southern Anatolia by the Takulu Kizilbash tribe, known as the Sakulu Rebellion, and an imperial army that was sent in order to put down the rebellion was defeated. The Ottoman reacted soon, when a large-scale incursion into eastern Anatolia by Safavid Ghazis under Nur Ali Khalifa coincided with the accession of Sultan Selim I in 1512 to the Ottoman throne, and was the casus belli which led to Selim's decision to invade neighboring Safavid Iran 2 years later. In 1514, Selim I attacked Ismail's kingdom. Selim and Ismail had been exchanging a series of belligerent letters prior to the attack. While the Safavid forces were at Chaldiran and planning on how to confront the Ottomans, Muhammad Khan Ushtail, who served as the governor of Diyarbakir, and then Ali Khalifa, a commander who knew how the Ottomans fought, proposed that they should attack as quickly as possible. However, this proposal was rejected by the powerful Qizilbash officer Dermish Khan Shamlu, who rudely said that Muhammad Khan Ushtail was only interested in the province which he governed. The proposal was also rejected by Ismail himself, who said, "I am not a caravan thief. Whatever is decreed by God will occur." However, Selim I eventually defeated Ismail at the Battle of Chaldiran in 1514. Ismail's army was more mobile and their soldiers were better prepared, but the Ottomans prevailed due in large part to their efficient modern army, and possession of artillery, black powder and muskets. Ismail was wounded and almost captured in battle. Selim entered the Iranian capital of Tabriz in triumph on September 5, but did not linger. A mutiny among his troops fearing a counterattack and entrapment by the fresh Safavid forces called in from the interior forced the triumphant Ottomans to withdraw prematurely. This allowed Ismail to recover quickly. Among the booties from Tabriz was Ismail's favorite wife, for whose release the Sultan demanded huge concessions, which were refused. Despite his defeat at the Battle of Chaldiran, Ismail quickly recovered most of his kingdom, from east of the Lake Van to the Persian Gulf. However, the Ottomans managed to annex for the first time eastern Anatolia and parts of Mesopotamia, as well as briefly northwestern Iran. The Venetian ambassador Caterino Zeno describes the events as follows. He also adds that, "Late reign and death." After the Battle of Chaldiran, Ismail lost his supernatural air and the aura of invincibility, gradually falling into heavy drinking of alcohol. Ismail retired to his palace and withdrew from active participation in the affairs of the state, leaving these to his vizier, Mirza Shah Hussain, whom he became close friends with and drank together with. This made Mirza Shah Hussain gain influence over Ismail and expand his authority. However, Mirza Shah Hussain was later assassinated in 1523 by a group of Qizilbash officers, which made Ismail appoint Zakaria's son Jalal al-Din Muhammad Tabrizi as his new vizier. Ismail died on 23 May 1524 at the relatively early age of 36. He was buried in Ardabil, and was succeeded by his son Tahmasp I. The consequences of the defeat at Chaldiran were also psychological for Ismail. His relationships with his Qizilbash followers were also fundamentally altered. The tribal rivalries between the Qizilbash, which temporarily ceased before the defeat at Chaldiran, resurfaced in intense form immediately after the death of Ismail, and led to 10 years of civil war until Shah Tahmasp gained control of the affairs of the state. The Safavids later briefly lost Balkh and Kandahar to the Mughals, and nearly Herat to the Uzbeks. During Ismail's reign, mainly in the late 1510s, the first steps for the Habsburg-Persian alliance were set as well with Charles V and Ludwig II of Hungary, in view of combining against the common Ottoman-Turkish enemy. Ismail's poetry. Ismail is also known for his poetry using the pen name Khatai. According to Encyclopedia Iranica, Ismail was a skillful poet who used prevalent themes and images in lyric and didactic religious poetry with ease and some degree of originality. He was also deeply influenced by the Persian literary tradition of Iran, particularly by the Shahnameh of Ferdowsi, which probably explains the fact that he named all of his sons after Shahnameh characters. Dixon and Welch suggest that Ismail's Shahnameh Shahi was intended as a present to the young Tahmasp. After defeating Muhammad Shaybani's Uzbeks, Ismail asked Hatfi, a famous poet from Jam, to write a Shahnameh-like epic about his victories and his newly established dynasty. Although the epic was left unfinished, it was an example of Maidnawas in the heroic style of the Shahnameh written later on for the Safavid kings. He wrote in the Azerbaijani language, a Turkic language mutually intelligible with Turkish, and in the Persian language. He is considered an important figure in the literary history of Azerbaijani language and has left approximately 1,400 verses in this language, which he chose to use for political reasons. Approximately 50 verses of his Persian poetry have also survived. Most of the poems are concerned with love, particularly of the mystical Sufi kind, though there are also poems propagating Shi'i doctrine and Safavi politics. His other serious works include the Nasihat Name, a book of advice, and the Unfinished Name, a book which extols the virtues of love. As Ismail believed in his own divinity and in his descent from Ali, in his poems he tended to strongly emphasize these claims. Along with the poet Imad Nasimi, Qatari is considered to be among the first proponents of using a simpler Azeri language in verse that would thereby appeal to a broader audience. His work is most popular in Azerbaijan, as well as among the Bektashis of Turkey. There is a large body of Alevi and Bektashi poetry that has been attributed to him. The major impact of his religious propaganda, in the long run, was the conversion of Persia from Sunni to Shi'i Islam. The following anecdote demonstrates the status of vernacular Turkish and Persian in the Ottoman Empire and in the incipient Safavid state. Qatari sent a poem in Turkish to the Ottoman Sultan Selim I before going to war in 1514. In a reply, the Ottoman Sultan answered in Persian to indicate his contempt. One of the examples of his poems are Poetry Example 1. Today I have come to the world as a master. Know truly that I am Haydar's son. I am Feridan's Khosrau, Jamshid, and Zahak. I am Zal's son and Alexander. The mystery of I am the truth is hidden in this my heart. I am the absolute truth and what I say is truth. I belong to the religion of the adherent of the Ali, and on the Shah's path I am a guide to everyone who says, I am a Muslim. My sign is the crown of happiness. I am the signet ring on Sulayman's finger. Muhammad is made of light, Ali of mystery. I am a pearl in the sea of absolute reality. I am Qatai, the Shah's slave full of shortcomings. At thy gate I am the smallest and the last servant. Poetry Example 2. My name is Shah Ishmi. I am God's mystery. I am the leader of all these Ghazis. My mother is Fatima, my father is Ali, and I am the PIR of the 12 Imams. I have recovered my father's blood from Yazid. Be sure that I am of Haydarian essence. I am the living Khidr and Jesus, son of Mary. I am the Alexander of contemporaries. Look you, Yazid, polytheist and the adept of the accursed one, I am free from the Kaba of hypocrites. In me is prophethood, the mystery of holiness. I follow the path of Muhammad Mustafa. I have conquered the world at the point of sword. I am the Kanbar of Mataja, Ali. My sire is Safi, my father Haydar. Truly I am the Jafar of the audacious. I am a Husainid and have curses for Yazid. I am Qatari, a servant of the Shahs. Poetry Example 3. The light of all is Muhammad. Duty or desire my heart burned. Will I see you ever? I hope in the holy divan of truth you will remember me. They call you generous, valiant, O impeccable leader. In the light of all is Muhammad. Valiant thou, Ali valiant. I could not find anyone in this lone world who is like you. Let me see your moon-faced effigy. So I will not stay in desire. All your servants who call your name will not be devoided in the hereafter. The light of all is Muhammad. Valiant thou, Ali valiant. Forgive this sinner. Lead my face to your holy Durga. My soul stayed in blasphemy. Thou will not insist on my sin. I sought shelter and came to this revealed refuge. The light of all is Muhammad. Valiant thou, Ali valiant. Hatari says, Thou, Ali, my body is filled up with sins, the light of all is Muhammad, valiant thou, Ali. Valiant poetry from other composers about Ismail. From Pir Sultan Abdal. He makes a march against Urim. The Imam of Ali's descent is coming. I bow down and kissed his hand. The Imam of Ali's descent is coming. He fills the cup step by step in his stable. Only noble Arab horses his ancestry. He is the son of the Shah. The Imam of Ali's descent is coming. The fields are marked step by step. His rival makes his heart aching. Red-green is the young warrior dressed. The Imam of Ali's descent is coming. He lets him seen often on the field. No one knows the secret of the Savior Shah of the world. Goodman Haydar's grandson. The Imam of Ali's descent is coming. Pir Sultan Abdal. I am, if I could see this, submit myself. If I could wipe my face at him from there. He is the leader of the 12 Imams. The Imam of Ali's descent is coming. Appearance and skills. An Italian traveler describes Ismail as follows. Legacy. Ismail's greatest legacy was establishing an enduring empire which lasted over 200 years. As Alexander Maccaberidze states, the Safavid dynasty would rule for 2 more centuries after Ismail's death, and establish the basis for the modern nation-state of Iran. Even after the fall of Safavid in 1736, their cultural and political influence endured through the era of Xored, Zand, Qajar, and Pahlavi dynasties into the modern Islamic Republic of Iran as well as neighboring Azerbaijan Republic, where Shia Islam is still the dominant religion as it was during the Safavids. Memory. Metro, district and facility in Azerbaijan. The street in Ganja and Prospect in Baku. In 1993, in Baku was erected a monument to Ismail I. The sculpture was erected in Kharkmaz to Ismail I. Alevism. In Alevism, Shah Ismail is seen as a religious figure, and a moral spiritual leader. His teachings are in the Bayruk,